Hi guys, the episode that you're just about to listen to is generously sponsored by our affiliates Board Game Crate. Board Game Crate provide a monthly subscription service where they get fresh new games delivered straight to your door. Just head over to www.boardgamecrate.co.uk, and furthermore, if you use our discount code UnluckyFrogIsAwesome, all lowercase, all one word, you'll get a cheeky little discount. It's easy to remember because it's true.
Hello and welcome to the Unlucky Frog Gaming Podcast. I'm your host Ben Porter, joined this week by regular host Charlotte Porter.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm alright. How are you?
I'm alright. Glad the week is over.
Whew.
Well, when this is going out, another week will be starting, but wait, we don't talk about that just now. Don't talk about that right now. So, Essen is looming on the horizon. So
yes.
We're going to be talking quite a bit about
that we're not going to get to go.
We're not going to get to go, but we do still get to ogle some nice games from afar. So we're going to talk a bit about some of the Essen releases that we're looking forward to. But before we get into all of that, we've got a little bit of housekeeping to take care of. So, first things first, we've got a couple of new patrons.
Yes, we do.
To get some shout outs. So, without further ado, Charlotte.
Yes. So, we have two new patrons. Ooh. We have Ryan Trotter.
Hey.
So, a big shout out to Ryan Trotter. And we've also got John from Earth to Games.
John from Earth to Games, who are currently working on Masters of Get Town.
Exactly.
Yep.
The Get Town.
So, thank you very much to both of you. Don't know what's possessed you to give us money, but
but we appreciate it.
Yeah, every little helps.
So we'll get your names added to the website too.
The Wall of Shame, right?
The Wall of Fame.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
The Wall of Fame.
Yep. Got it. If you're out there, you're listening to us, and you're maybe on the fence about supporting us, just to iterate as we do whenever we talk about the Patreon, that we all have full-time jobs of our own. So if you like what we're doing and would like to see it improve, you can pledge some money to us, even if it's as small as $1 a month. Every little helps. That'll allow us to get better sound equipment. It allows us to upgrade a lot of our software, and sometimes it even covers expenses for conventions and things. Yeah. So if that's all stuff that you would be interested in seeing us explore and expound upon, then maybe consider giving us your money.
Yeah. www.patreon.com/unluckyfrog.
I'm making a slashing motion that I'm realising that you guys are not quite going to get the benefit of.
It's fabulous. So, on the topic of Patreon as well, we've also been having a bit of a reflective period these past couple of weeks.
We've been the Pensive frog.
Yes, the Pensive frog.
Yeah.
Thinking about, because obviously it's been our first birthday.
Within a year, we went from being completely unknown to having a fairly substantial following.
Yeah. 10,000 downloads we had this week.
Hey.
Woo!
Another milestone.
But we've been thinking about what we're doing and how we want to do it. So we put out a survey, very small survey, 4 questions. And we've had quite a few responses from that. So we're going to analyse that data and see how it matches up with what we had sort of... Because truth is we kind of had ideas before we thought about, let's ask everybody else what they think. Yeah. So we want to make sure that they marry up. And obviously, if anything needs to change, it can change. We can see what we're doing.
So we've got our ideas. We wanted to hear your feedback, and we've sat down, we've talked with the rest of the team, and we're going to be making some changes in the new year to the way that we release content. So keep your eyes peeled for announcements regarding that on our social media.
Yes.
But it's exciting times ahead for the Unlucky Frog. And we're also in the new year going to be doing our Game of the Year awards.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, we're going to be doing that. So if you work for a company and perhaps want your game considered for that, get in touch with us. Or if you're really enthusiastic about a game that's come out this year, or indeed an expansion, get in touch with us. Let us know, because there's a plethora of games out there. It is impossible for us to sit down with all of them. So if you're able to give us the heads up on something, then that's great. Yeah. So yeah, get in touch if there's anything that you've that's really grabbed you with regards to that. And the only criteria for Unlucky Frog's Game of the Year stuff is that it has to have released within the 1st of January 2018 and December 31st 2018. So it is the full year. We don't go by the Essen calendar like some of the other awards and things do. And the awards that we're going to be doing in January of next year are Game of the Year, which is a given. We're going to be doing Best Expansion.
Yep.
So that is if an expansion came out for a game in 2018, there's going to be an award for that. So again, if there's an expansion that particularly grabbed you, that could be a cycle for a card game. It could be a physical add-on for a board game. It could be, like some of the living card game formats where they've released a Mythos pack or a Cycle pack, whatever you want to call them. All of those sorts of things that can be considered for that. We're going to do Best Art Style for a game. We're also going to do Best Miniatures Range. And finally, we're going to do a People's Choice Award. So, particularly for our listeners out there, if there's anything that you really want to be considered for that People's Choice vote, maybe start giving a bit of consideration to that and letting us know what you think should at least be
included,
shortlisted for that. So yeah, there's a lot coming up, lot to be excited about. And we've not even talked about Christmas or anything like that.
You said the C word. You said the C word, Ben.
We'll need to beep it out. That'll need to get beeped out, Charlotte.
What you like?
I can't believe it was me that did it. Anyway.
Well, you said it now. Christmas, 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 Christmas.
Such a potty mouth.
Christmas.
Disgusting. Anyway, right. Enough of that. The news.
Yes.
So, bit of an obscure one. This came out this morning. It was our very own Josh that brought this to our attention, because it is from the thisismoney.co.uk website, which is not a website that I was even aware existed, but Josh, being the most avaricious of the team, this is probably his homepage on Chrome. So, apparently Games Workshop shares have taken a bit of a tumble.
Not just a tumble, though.
Yeah,
They released a statement warning.
Yeah, they released a statement warning their shareholders about the uncertainties ahead. And then after that, because the stock market is completely risk averse, despite what they may say, the trepidation of the shareholders felt after that statement was issued was reflected on the share prices. Apparently Tom Kirby has sold all of his shares out. Tom Kirby, for a long time, he was the CEO of Games Workshop, and he remained on the board for a while after he stepped down as CEO. He sold all of his shares out. I think it was something ridiculous, like 23 million he had. So it all sounds a bit nightmarish until, as you and Josh had said earlier, you remember that Brexit is
because the statement they released was literally just
the quote here is apparently the firm has warned investors of, quote, some uncertainties in the trading periods ahead, end quote. When you actually step back and take stock, no pun intended, of the
Josh isn't even here, Ben.
I know, someone has to fill in for him. But when you actually step back and evaluate, Brexit. I forgot about that. Because as we were saying just before we came on the air, the bulk of Games Workshop's sales come from overseas. They may be based in the UK, but they actually make like quite a small percentage of their overall sales.
Got a very big following in Europe, haven't they?
And obviously part of the fallout of Brexit is that all of the trade treaties need to be renegotiated. So it's a horrible time to be
alive.
that just about sums it up. So let's move on to the next item of business. So Kickstarter. Kickstarter has been quite busy at the moment.
Yes.
Kickstarter is always busy, to be fair, but as far as we can see, as far as we're concerned, it's been a bit busier.
It's been quite busy.
Tidal Blades,
Yes.
which is a game I've been really excited for, launched on Kickstarter this week, and it funded within 45 minutes.
45 minutes?
Yep.
There's been some really big Kickstarters in the past couple of months
Yeah.
that have just...
I think part of me was thinking, like, you know, that people talk about the board game boom, board game renaissance, whatever you want to call it. As soon as people start talking about it like that, there's a school of people that'll go, well, eventually the bubble's got to burst. But Kickstarter, if that is anything to go by, it just keeps going up and up.
Maybe it's one of those trick bubbles, you know, the trick bubble gum that just doesn't actually burst, it just keeps getting bigger, bigger, bigger.
Like those bubbles, they put like a little bit of glue through them so they don't actually
burst.
pop properly. Yeah, maybe. Tidal Blades looks fantastic.
Yes, it does.
It's Druid City Games are publishing it. It's a beautiful looking game.
It's lovely.
It has a load of custom dice and you level them up as you go. Some great character artwork as well. It's a bit of a mishmash mechanics wise, but I quite like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not trying to pigeonhole itself. It's just what it is. And I think that even if the gameplay is like, oh, it's okay, I think that I'm still going to enjoy it just because it looks like such a beautiful world to inhabit. You know, it's I think the area is called the Reef, from what I remember. So it's all very aquatic colours, and all of the characters have got they're like anthropomorphic aquatic animals. Like there's a little axolotl priestess. There's a character called Cayman. He's like a big red crocodile man who looks badass. So I'm really excited for that. It's well on its way to funding. I went all in and went for the deluxe edition that comes with miniatures.
Oh, did you? You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, that's happening. So
okay.
Yeah, so that's my allowance for
forever.
Yeah, thanks, Charlotte.
Until Christmas.
So generous. But I'm really excited for that.
Yeah.
I think that's set to ship next August.
Good.
So it'll be a while yet before we get to play that, but it's always nice to know that there's something exciting waiting for you in the future, and we'll definitely be keeping an eye on the Kickstarter as that goes.
Yeah.
As far as the Scottish scene goes with Kickstarter, Motora launched on Kickstarter this week from Twisted Bit Games.
Motora?
I'm not sure how it's inflected, but Motora. I'm sure Callum will let us know.
Yes, please do, Callum.
Yeah. So Callum of Twisted Bit Games, we had him on the podcast not that long ago. Yeah.
August, when he came back from Gen Con.
Yeah.
After being in Korea.
And then straight into Tabletop Scotland after that. So he's been a busy boy.
Busy.
So he's on Kickstarter with Motora at the moment. Really bright, vibrant, islandy worker placement type game. So check that out. There'll be a link in the description for that. But on a slightly more somber note, friend of the show, Justin from Bad Cat Games, has decided to put Gladiatores on ice for the moment. So he had launched the Kickstarter at the beginning of the month, but it's been pretty slow. And to be fair to Justin, it seems to be quite a busy release window as far as Kickstarter goes. I mean, we've said many times when we've spoken about Kickstarter in the past that it's very hard for independent developers in Kickstarter now, because the way that the bigger companies are using Kickstarter means that there is seldom a window on Kickstarter now where you're not toe-to-toe with one of the industry Goliaths.
Yeah.
But this month in particular seems to be quite a tough one.
Yeah.
So I respect his decision to call a tactical retreat. He's going to be at Essen.
Yeah.
He'll be demoing the game, and I'm sure he'll take stock of feedback, and he'll come back bigger and stronger.
The other one that's coming is Quirk, Hallows.
Launched this week. It's an expansion for Quirk by friend of the show Emmerse of Emmerse Studios.
Yep.
And it adds a bunch of spooky cards to the game.
Spooky.
Yeah, so you get vampires, werewolves. I don't think genies are particularly spooky.
If it's an evil genie.
That's true. But I suppose in the older traditions, the genie or the djinn is a demon technically, right?
Yeah.
So.
And is that one of those ones, isn't it, where it's like you actually need to be careful what you're wishing for?
Yeah, because a lot of the time they're not like the Disney genies.
No.
They were quite tricksy, weren't they?
Yeah.
So actually, the more I think about it, quite apt.
Yes.
So that's only going to be on Kickstarter for 13 days. So that's going to take us more or less right up to Halloween.
So get it now.
Yeah, link to that in the show notes as well. So that's all the news items and housekeeping covered. So let's talk about Essen.
Essen!
Yep. We've never been to Essen. So Essen Spiel is the big daddy as far as conventions for Europe go.
Daddy.
It's one of the big three throughout the world. Last year it had 182,000 attendees.
Gosh.
So it's a big one.
A lot of people.
As I said previously, we've not been,
Nope.
but I have it in good authority that it is more of a trade show.
And we do know quite a few folk that are going.
Yeah. Shall we rhyme some of them off?
Duncan Cowan.
Duncan Cowan from Tabletop Scotland, he's going to be there. Bez from Stuff by Bez.
Cat from I Play Red.
Cat from I Play Red. Justin from Bad Cat Games, he's going to be there. So it's... I think definitely if you're press or if you are developing a game in any way, it's one that you want to go to. But I think you would maybe be a bit disappointed with Essen if you were hoping to turn up and take part in a tournament and all that. It's not quite the same show as UK Games Expo or Gen Con are, where there's a bit of everything going on at those ones. It is very much a trade show. So as I said, we've never been before. We are hoping to go next year.
Yes.
I think that is something we're discussing at the moment. But what we thought is we would talk through some of the releases.
So you looked at the release schedule, didn't you?
I did.
How many games were on the release schedule?
Just a little under 1,200.
Oh my gosh. And we've narrowed it down to how many?
We've got about 16 here.
16, that's not bad. From 1,200 to 16.
Yeah, they're not all standalone games here. I think we've got a couple we've got one expansion, which can also be used as a standalone game. But I think let's just rattle through them. So the first one we've got on the list is Village Attacks.
Yes.
By Grimlord Games.
Yes.
This is a game that people who backed the Kickstarter for, they'll already have it in their hands. And I think this is really the first time that it's going to be at retail that I'm aware of.
It was very good. We played at UK Games Expo.
Yep.
Had to get ushered out because it went beyond.
I think we were technically
time.
the last non-exhibitors in that hall.
The security had to come and tell us to leave.
Yeah. So that was embarrassing. But Village Attacks, it's a sort of tower defense type game where each of you plays like a sort of hammer horror type monster defending your castle against the horrible unwashed masses.
Horrible unwashed masses.
The
public.
Yeah. It's a bunch of peasants, right? And then occasionally a hero shows up to totally ruin your day.
Right.
It was really good fun what we played of it. loads of miniatures in it.
Loads of miniatures.
So that's one that we're quite looking forward to playing again when we get the chance. The next one we've got on the list is Ruthless.
Ooh, Alley Cat Games?
Alley Cat Games are publishing it in
Roland's
the UK.
Revenge.
It is Roland's Revenge
Yes,
that
that's
are
right.
making it. It's
Roland's
Roland McDonald,
Yes.
who is the artist and game designer.
Yes.
He's done everything in it.
Yeah.
And it is a stunning looking game. It's a deck builder that uses a lot of poker mechanics. Because when I saw it was a pirate game, I thought, great. When I heard it was a deck builder, I was a wee bit like, this could go either way.
Yeah.
But it's unique enough in its own right that it stays quite interesting, and it doesn't suffer from a lot of the usual problems that deck builders do. Like the one that I hate in particular is with deck builders, you can spend what feels like half an hour just watching your friend draw cards. None of that happened when we played Ruthless. We only did get to play it once at UK Games Expo, but that's one that I'm very keen to add to the collection. I really enjoyed Ruthless, and it's it's fairly quick to play, pretty small box, so it means that it's a nice travel-sized game, and it just looks fantastic. Ice Cool 2.
Ice Cool.
Yep, so Brain Games are doing a sequel to Ice Cool. Do you know much about this?
Wait, it was at UK Games Expo, but we bought the original one.
Well, it's actually it's going to be, I think it's going to be released in retail at the beginning of November, but it is going to be on sale at Essen Spiel. This can be used as a standalone game, or it can be used as an expansion for Ice Cool. It adds in some tournament mechanics. Apparently there's a card that lets you swap fish around as well, so I'm quite interested to see how that goes. You can also combine it with the Ice Cool game to create your own courses.
Oh, that's cool.
And there's also, if you combine the two games, a new game mode called The Race.
The Race.
Which sounds quite
I'm not going to
interesting.
be very good at that, I'm just telling you now.
Apparently, Ian McAllister from the Giant Brain, he was telling me that there's some cards that they reward you for trick shots.
Oh, yeah, I can't even get out of a room, let alone
Yeah.
do a trick shot.
I love Ice Cool.
Your mum is surprisingly good at it.
My mum's amazing at Ice Cool.
Yeah.
But then she revealed
Yeah.
it's because she spent a lot of her childhood playing Cerebeus with
Yeah.
my uncle.
Yeah.
So she is an absolute master at games like that. And she wiped the floor with all of
Yeah,
us
she did.
at Ice Cool. She was actually telling me how I should be doing it, so I was taking pointers off my mum for a change in a game. I love Ice Cool. You're not so keen.
I guess because I'm not very good at it.
Yeah, I'm not that great at Ice Cool.
No. You're. I'm not even
Right. You
on the
just
chart. I'm just.
you're just totally calling me out
scrolling
there for
and-
false modesty.
No, you're very good at it.
Well, we might pick that up then. Just prolong Charlotte's suffering a bit more. Blue Orange Games are bringing out a game called Planet.
Okay.
So, Blue Orange Games have really caught my attention over the past while, not just because they've released a couple of games that have performed quite well, like Photosynthesis, and
Yep.
I think they did King Domino as well.
Oh, okay.
But the thing that they've really got my attention for is that they are aiming to make the bulk of their games from recycled materials.
Ah, yeah.
Photosynthesis was made, I think, entirely from recycled cardboard and paper,
Yeah.
which is quite a commitment to make.
Beautiful
But
game. It's a
their
beautiful
next game, they seem to be sort of continuing along this environmental line, and their next game, Planet, you get a planet core, which is this sort of magnetic cube type shape, and you can magnetize different faces
Ooh.
to this shape, and they've got different types of terrain on them. So you're creating a little planet,
Yeah.
and you're trying to attract different animal species to your planet.
Yeah.
and you score points based on that.
That's cool.
So it seems as though it could be quite pertinent. You know, we live in an age where people are quite concerned about the environment. Blue Orange Games, they're particularly invested in the environment with their commitment to using recycled components. So it's going to be interesting to see what Planet's like. Next on the list, we've got a game called Cerberus by Boite de Jeu. I do apologise to any French aficionados or native French speakers out there if I'm butchering the pronunciation of that.
Iona, tell us.
Yeah, I'm sure she will. we're going to have this list of people lining up after the show to tell us
how to say things.
Yeah. Anyway, Cerberus is a semi-cooperative game where players have all found themselves in the underworld, which apparently isn't a nice place.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So the rub here is you're working together to escape. There's only 3 spaces on the boat.
Ooh, how many players?
I think you can do up to 5, something like that.
Ooh.
So I think the number of spaces you've got in the boat obviously shrinks the smaller the player number, but you're working together to an extent.
Yes.
Because you're gonna have to off a couple of people in order to get on that boat.
What about Sharon? Can we off Sharon and have another space on the boat?
No, because he needs his magic powers to punt you back to the other side.
Damn it!
Only he can navigate the River of Souls. See, if you didn't have me there to help you, you'd be stuck there forever.
In a boat.
Yeah. The cool thing about this, because at first when I saw it, I thought, oh, it's got player elimination. That's rubbish. Apparently when you die, you get to like throw stuff in the way of the remaining players.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So it seems like quite an interesting one, quite different again from what's out there. I love the theme of the... I did classics at school, so I'm a bit of a classics nerd, so anything Greek or Roman, I'm ooh. But it's got a Cerberus meeple on it.
Oh, wee three-headed
doggy. And again, it looks like quite a compact little game, so that's another one to look out for that I thought looked pretty neat. Next on the list, Holding On, The Troubled Life of Billy Kerr.
Yes. Now
I don't know why I said Billy Kerr like that.
We did see this at UK Games Expo, never got to play it.
No, because
it was constantly...
Not by any fault of our own.
Yeah.
You had to book demos for it.
And it was booked out. I mean, it was constantly...
It was mobbed. I think I'm still a wee bit sceptical as to how effectively they implement the theme. Yeah. But to be honest, and to be fair to them, that's more to do with the fact that I was really disappointed with Fog of Love. Yeah. And that was another quite recent game that tried to tackle a more substantial theme, and in my opinion fell flat on its face doing it. Yeah. I've been hearing good stuff about it so far, we have. But it's certainly one to look at. For people that don't know the Troubled Life of Billy Kerr,
it's Hub Games, isn't it?
It's Hub Games.
Yeah.
The eponymous Billy Kerr character has suffered a cardiac arrest and has been rushed into care, and the players play the nursing staff that are trying to keep Billy stable. Yeah. And throughout the course of the game, you are piecing together memories from Billy as his life flashes before his eyes. Yeah. So potentially quite a poignant one. Yeah. It'll all depend on how the story's executed and whether the game mechanics get in the way of delivering that story, which was an issue that Fog of Love really suffered from. Yeah. Certainly very brave. Yes. To tackle a theme like that, and I do think that for all I was a wee bit disappointed with Fog of Love, it's nice to see designers tackling tougher themes. But I've got quite a good feeling about Billy Kerr. Part of me is a wee bit like, oh, I don't know, but part of me is like, no.
Let's try it. Yeah. No good.
Magnificent Flying Machines.
Ooh,
Medusa Games.
Yes.
So this is like Catch the Pigeon, the game.
I love it.
We played it at Glasgow Games Festival last year. Mm-hmm. Medusa Games are developing and publishing this one. Richard Denning, another friend of the show, UK Games Expo boss, Medusa Games boss, and up until recently, GP. Yeah, very busy man.
Very busy man.
Also writes novels.
When does he get time to do anything?
Yeah, he's insane. That's all I can say to that. But he's put together magnificent flying machines. It is an aircraft race.
Yeah, turn of the century
across Britain.
Yeah.
So turn of the century style, flying in those sort of machines that you can scarcely believe even get up off the ground.
Yeah.
It's one of those games I think if you take it too seriously, you're not going to enjoy it.
Well, it's based on that film, isn't it? Magnificent Men and Their Flying Machines.
Yeah.
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 So it's the same sort of idea as that.
It's very tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
Tongue-in-cheek, quite madcap. Like I think in the game we played, Callum had a brick attached to a string that he threw at Josh's pilot.
From the ground, didn't he?
And no, it was from his plane.
No, because I thought Josh was on the top. Was Josh not on the highest
So,
level?
It was a ground. It was a ground to air brick.
That's what was so funny about it. Was Callum was on the ground and threw it.
I don't think it matters where it came from. I think the fact that anyone got hit with a brick while they were in the air in this game is that really sort of sets the tone for the game. I loved it, just for all the nonsense that goes along with it. It's got a really distinct sort of cartoony caricature type art style.
But even that, it's came on quite a bit since we played it, because when
we
played it was still quite
a lot
rough.
of the stuff's been quite tweaked quite a bit. A bunch of pilots have been added. Quite an eclectic mix of characters here, because they've got pilots from all over the globe, male, female, different races. So kudos to Richard for that. So keep an eye out for that one if you're at Essen Spiel, and by all means keep an eye out for it in the future, because it's quite good fun. So next move games, I've got a couple of games that are going to be on sale at Essen. We've got Azul, Stained Glass of Sintra, and Reef.
Reef, yes.
So I've seen quite a few people say that Azul, Stained Glass of Sintra is like someone's just taken Azul and Sagrada and smashed the two together. Ta-da! Glass of Sintra. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. It does look as though it borrows a lot of similar beats to Azul. That sort of precision tile placing, where you're punished for taking a bit too much and wasting materials. I felt Azul was okay. I wasn't as enthusiastic about it. Yeah. I didn't like the fact that you have to be so precise in how you're playing it that
I like that.
There's not a lot of interactivity.
I like that. That's how I was able to score 105 points.
Yeah.
Because I managed to complete the entire board and get all my colours and get everything.
Yeah.
I'm never that precise, ever.
You're so modest.
I'm never that precise. That's more the thing. I'm more of a random, chaotic person.
Yeah. It's not one I'm particularly excited for. It looks pretty, but I know a lot of people out there love Azul, so it's worth mentioning. Yeah. The other game, Reef
does look
I like the look
good.
at, because this one you have to make the most beautiful reef.
I love it already.
So I think that it's similar, and this is the thing, is that Next Move Games have said that they're going down the route of doing more abstract type games. But where the Azul series require you to be very precise in your movements, I think Reef lets you go off the rails a wee bit more. Okay. I've not played it myself. I really want to, because I'm a bit of a sucker for all things aquatic, nautical. Yep. That's. I think it's part and parcel of being a Scot. You know, we're a maritime people. That's what I tell myself. You're looking at me like I'm a weirdo.
You just reminded me of the designer of Cumbernauld Town Centre. So Cumbernauld Town Centre is terrible, but it's shaped like a boat, and that was because apparently we're a maritime nation, even though Cumbernauld is nowhere near any body of water in any direction.
Well, I was trying to be quite. romantic and poetic, and then you made it about Cumbernauld again.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're not one bit sorry.
No.
But we are. Scots are a maritime people.
We are.
It's true.
Yeah.
The sea calls to us, even in board games.
Even in board games.
Yeah. So that's another one to keep an eye on. Looks very nice. Wildlands by Osprey Games.
We saw this.
So this is Martin Wallace's skirmish type game. Allegedly his answer to Shadespire.
Oh.
So make of that what you will. So it's a bold claim. I'm not saying that he can't do it, but right. I'm going to talk about it. In Tabletop Gaming magazine this month, there was an interview with Martin Wallace about this game.
Yes.
And they asked him about Shadespire. And Martin Wallace's answer was, I've never played Shadespire, but I would argue that this Wildlands is the more elegant design. Now, first, right, there's about 3 or 4 stages of stupidity to that. First of all, they asked him the question.
Yeah.
Right? Second of all, they let him... He answered that with the answer saying, I've never played that, but I'm still going to argue that my design's better. And then the third stage is that they published that comment anyway. No one looks good in that exchange.
No.
It was a very bizarre piece of journalism, but that's not to detract anyway from the game itself.
No.
It looked quite interesting. You know, you've got the characters trying to collect pieces of it looked like amber.
Yeah.
And you've got the war bands. They've all got quite distinct feels to them. I'm certainly interested in giving it a go, but I don't really feel like I need another skirmish game in my life, and I don't feel like Wildlands does anything different enough to merit investing in it in a big way. But Martin Wallace certainly has a great reputation, and Osprey Games, the publisher, they've got an expansive back catalogue, so keep an eye out for that one. Next on the list, Detective.
Oh yes.
A modern crime board game.
Yes.
So it's Portal Games that are publishing this one. A lot of the backers have already got it in their hands. So if you back Detective and have already got it, let us know what you think of it. So it looks along the lines of Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, in that you've got a bunch of cases that follow on from one another. But the big deal about this is apparently you have to use Google and stuff like that to solve some of the cases. So I'm quite interested to see how they integrate that into a board game. I thought it'd be right up your street.
I remember Rory Summers played it at UK Games Expo, and they were locked. They were locked in a room.
Were they?
For a couple of they weren't. Cause they were testing it out, and he was in this room for about 3 hours, googling and trying to do all the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems pretty neat.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, I can see a lot of people being like, well, you know, I don't want to have to Google and use devices and things when I'm playing a board game.
I do. I like the
I kind of like the integration of technology, but at the same time, I understand how a lot of people would be like, I don't want a game where everyone's looking at their phones.
Yeah, I can get that.
A lot of people, the attraction of tabletop gaming is getting away from that. I found this quite quirky little game when I was going through the list.
This is the one I'm really excited for.
It's called The Table is Lava.
The Table is Lava! What on earth is The Table is Lava?
So details on this one are scarce at the moment, but allegedly everyone's got a meeple, and you're trying to throw cards down.
I love this already.
In order for... I'm not quite sure how the objective is fulfilled and all that, but it's only... I think the price it was listed at was €12. So I think it's going to be a little game. Quite a weird idea. But I kind of like the idea of a party game with a dexterity element.
Yeah.
It seems like that could be pretty good fun.
Yeah.
And you were very enthusiastic about it. You are very enthusiastic about that. So if you're at Essen and you manage to get a look at that, let us know.
Yes.
Because that sounds mental. So this next game, it's already been out for a while, but can't get it anywhere. So it is being sold at Essen.
Yeah.
Riverdale.
Everdale.
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 Everdale. Where did I get Riverdale from?
We've played Everdale.
We have played Everdale. Apparently we've played it wrong.
It's beautiful. It's such a beautiful game, and I really want to play it again. This is the game that I because I remember saying to you that even though we played it, we kind of knew we played it wrong.
Yeah. The rulebook's not great.
No, it maybe soured our experience a bit.
Yeah.
But I still wanted the game.
Which I think is testament to how well it's put together,
Oh, it's
right?
a beautiful game.
Like, you know, I'm not so interested about playing this game. I just want to look at it and
I just
touch
want
it.
it.
Yeah, I just need it in my life.
I remember because that's the one that we played at the Geek and Son.
Yeah.
And everybody came by and was like, what are you playing? It
We
just
got
looked so
some-
beautiful on a beautiful table.
We got some very nice pictures
Yeah.
there. There's an expansion was on
Oh, that's
Kickstarter
right, yeah.
quite recently. It's the I can't remember the name of it, but it's a river expansion. So everyone gets a frog ambassador, and you're negotiating with the river folk. You're treating with them.
Do you think we could make little unlucky frog meeples and give them to people to put in to be the frog ambassador?
I don't know, but you're going to try, aren't
Yes!
you? Yeah. That would be quite a horrifying ambassador to send to the river folk. Are you sure this is a good
What
idea?
is this?
Yeah.
Okay, good point. Good point.
We'll do the little meeples, but they'll have white skull faces on them, and they'll have different coloured bow ties.
There we go. Good. Because the bow tie really does lessen it a bit, makes it
Yeah,
less
but it also
terrifying.
means that your frog ambassador is colour coded, so you know
Yes.
which
Yeah.
ambassador belongs to which player.
Yes.
We think of everything here.
We do. We do.
So the last item got on the list, I've had to skip a couple here because time's against us. Friend of the show Bez, from Stuff by Bez, is going to be there with Kitty Cataclysm.
Kitty Cataclysm.
Yep.
Now, a special one for us
Yep.
because
Our cat's in it.
our very own Sylvester
Yes, he is.
is the cat burglar.
I think he is. Or he's
Yeah.
the sneaky cat
The
or
sneaky
something.
cat. Yeah.
It's something quite apt for Sylvester anyway.
Yeah, Sylvester the Pester.
Yeah. So he's black and white, domestic short hair. And in his character art, he's got a little fish hanging out of his
Yes.
mouth, and he's scurrying away with it.
Yes. And it does look like Sylvester. And
It
oh
does.
my word. So we were involved with Bez in the sort of consultation on the artwork.
Yeah,
And just seeing it all come together
I
was amazing.
love Bez's art style as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
It looks really neat, and she's done so much work on this one.
Yeah.
I do think that of all of our games that I've played, Kitty Cataclysm's the one I like the best.
Yeah.
I do think that the artwork for Kitty Cataclysm is the best she's done as well so far, I think. So she should be really chuffed with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% on whether she'll actually be selling the game there, because it is running a bit late
Yeah.
already, but I'm pretty certain she will at least be demoing it.
Yeah.
So if you do get the chance, swing by the Stuff by Bez stall. You will probably be made to draw a cat.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how good it is, it's the taking part that
Yeah.
counts.
Yeah.
But Bez has amassed quite the wall of cats.
So many cats.
I remember when this cat wall was in its infancy, and I said to her, "This is a really cool idea. So you're going to use the artwork in Kitty Cataclysm?" She was like, "No, I'm just collecting pictures of cats." And I was a bit, okay.
So she wants.
I feel stupid for asking her, but yeah,
And our cats are amongst them.
yes. I've got a skeleton cat, a rabid cat, and I drew something else. I can't
See, I
remember.
can't remember my cats because she takes them with her to every convention she goes to, and she'll
Yeah.
put them up. And so
She
I've
puts
seen
up
them,
all of them.
all the cats, and so I've seen them. Maybe we've been at maybe 3 or 4 conventions where she's been at,
Yeah.
and I don't know which cats are mine. I've drawn a cat every single time, and I don't know which cat's mine.
Well, I also sign mine.
Oh, that's smart. See,
And I
That's why
draw a
you're-
little frog symbol in the
That's why
bottom.
you're the brains.
On that note, there you go. You've got a pretty big list of games to keep an eye out for. Even if you're not at Essen, that's some stuff to look out for in the coming months. But yeah, if you're going along to Essen, let us know. Share some pictures with us. Let us know what you're excited for. But until next time, thank you for joining us. Take care.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Tom. Hope you enjoyed that. If you want to check out more Unlucky Frog, check their Facebook page. You can find it by searching Unlucky Frog Gaming. You can also support them on Patreon. And check out their website at www.unluckyfrog.com.
Mention the Twitter.
Oh yeah,
Don't forget the Twitter.
they've got Twitter too. It's pretty cool.